Good morning, North America. Welcome to Church Talk TV. Lively talk about life, church, and church life. I'm your co-host, Dr. Bill Tenney-Britton, and I'm joined, as usual, by my co-host, Dr. Kris Tenney-Britton, and we're broadcasting from our studio in Columbia, Missouri, the heartland of America. Say good morning, Kris.
Well, good morning, and welcome to Church Talk TV.
Kris and Bill Tenney-Britton here today to talk about the difference between and how to put together, just basically, the difference between online services versus an online campus.
Now, let me tell you that this is a little difficult subject, and people have told us, oh yeah, we've got an online church going, but really what they have is online services with maybe a few things added to it. We want to expand your thinking. If you are or you have been meeting in online services, we want you to begin to think about, could this be an online campus? Could you actually have two campuses?
And one of the realities we're finding is church after church is, well, our online streaming services that we're doing, we're going to continue those. And our online Sunday school classes and our online small groups and whatnot, well, we're going to try to do the hybrid thing when we go back, or we're going to cancel them completely. And a number of these churches have got people coming to their Sunday school, to their worship, to their small groups that either can't or couldn't come when they go back in person. And I got to tell you that I have yet to find a good small church, medium-sized church, and even most large churches that have the resources and the ability to do a full hybrid small group in any way that is helpful. I can tell you right now that sitting a laptop in a Sunday school classroom and calling that hybrid Sunday school isn't going to work because the people watching can't hear most of the time. You can't hear them most of the time.
Participate.
And they really can't participate effectively. It would take a whole, like a video wall or a very large screen TV, a room camera, and microphones up and down, and it would just be a real mess.
It's like watching TV, and I don't know, when I'm sitting in a computer on a screen watching a classroom like that, I'm sorry, that's not compelling enough TV to keep my attention. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the difference between an online service and an online campus.
All right, well, I'll start with the online service.
Sure.
Online service is what most of us are doing now. We have put together either we're streaming or we have developed an online worship service that we either record and stream out, or we stand on our pulpits or wherever and we stream out. And it has been designed by and large for our online audience. Think Conan and how he has a few people here, but mostly he has designed his service, his show, for those who are watching. And when we go back, the online service, when we go back, we will probably stream and we will focus on a order of worship service and all the rest on our in-person people. Yeah. So if you're passing offering plates, the people online are going while you pass the offering plates and someone plays, tinkles on the piano or plays the organ or whatever.
Be nice.
Right. Oh, but there's background music, but it's elevator music, or maybe even special music, but it's a long, lengthy process compared to what most of us are doing in online, on our online service is designed for online people. Right. The other thing is that an online service, all the participants there are tied to, if you will, the mother church for all the core processes, invite, connect, disciple, and send, and for their community building. That is all about the campus, the building, even though we're not in the building. It's really all about those people and the services that the building can provide. An online campus is different, though.
Right. An online campus shares the mother church's DNA and many of her resources. But the campus is responsible for its own core processes, how it works out inviting and connecting and discipling and going people, sending people so they can go.
Did you hear that? She said send.
Because they send, but we go. Okay, right. And they're responsible for their own community, just the same as if your church had two different places that it meets. This place, the one campus,
one town.
right, is in one town. The other campus is in another town, and they each have their own staff people or a group of leadership that works on all of that. But they're still one church together because they share that DNA and resources at that.
And typically a lead pastor who oversees all the campuses
Right.
and all the campus pastors,
Right.
etc. Probably the model that you're going to use. So what we have the rest of this episode real quick is this is a sampler.
Right.
Because this is a detailed and complicated process.
Yes.
And for most of you, you don't have a lot of time to put this together. But this is all about getting the conversation started.
Yeah.
It's not a definitive course. You want that? Hey, call us. We'll talk with you about it.
Definitely.
But here's some key practices. So there's two things. What does the mother church provide, and what does the campus provide? So why don't you start off with the mother church?
Okay, so what the mother church provides, again, is the DNA, the mission, the vision, the values. That's the same in every campus a church has. They provide support, and that support, we talk about resources, but people resources, right? They supply
Probably finances.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to figure out how to say that. Make sure there's the Zoom account and all of those pieces. So they provide the support, the resources, and the key worship components, probably. Go ahead.
Yeah, they probably have a worship service, or they have the worship pieces they're putting together. Like, for instance, many multi-site churches, the lead pastor either does the service live in all the campuses, or it's recorded and sent recorded to the campuses,
Right.
and they play it live. So
Right.
there's probably some of that going on.
Right. Okay. So now tell us.
Okay, so
Yeah,
what
campus.
does the campus provide?
Go ahead.
And that first thing, I want to say that if you're going to do an online campus, you need a campus pastor,
Definitely.
a campus chaplain, whatever. They're the ones who are in charge of making sure that no one falls through the cracks, that people are being contacted, the community is being built, and the 4 core processes, which she's going to start off to talk about in just a minute, the 4 core processes are actually being accomplished, that they are the one responsible for growing that congregation.
Right.
And remember, it is a congregation. It's not just a small group
Right.
of the mother church. They are their own independent congregation that's really interdependent and, if you will, dependent on the mother church for so much. But they are a congregation in and of themselves.
But this is one of the ways that we were arguing about earlier, because this is all about this. It's more than semantics. I mean, that's what we had to keep saying to one another. Let's get our language straight
Right.
when we're thinking about this. And we've been talking about this for months now. And so when we talk about that mother church, it doesn't mean, the church that's at the on-site. That's not the mother church. The mother church, if you will, is here. And you've got on-site and online. They share DNA, they're all that. Because you could end up with another on-site congregation in another town, or even in another country, if you will.
Or another online campus. That's right.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
right,
Oh, yeah,
right.
I like
Yeah,
that
you've got multiple
idea.
online
Yeah.
campuses.
Woohoo.
So,
Who'd
all
have
right.
ever thought?
So
Okay.
the campus pastor does what a regular pastor does,
Right.
but probably not doing the preaching. That's probably
Yeah,
coming from
yeah.
the mother church. It doesn't have to be that way. Some may do
Could be.
otherwise, but that's probably how it's done. But then the core processes are the key. So the first
Right.
core process, and this is, we've done an episode on
Oh
this.
my gosh, we did.
but-
We did 5 episodes
Yeah, so
on
we
this.
want to just touch on these because it's a little different for an online campus than it is for a on-site or doing online services. This is a campus, so go ahead.
I
So,
said we did 5 episodes. We've done 5 episodes. Okay, so you may
I did 'em.
remember.
Sorry.
You did them.
Okay.
Okay, so the first core process, as you probably know or may know, if you don't, please go watch our episodes that we have done, is invite. It's how we get people to come and to see us, to be part of what we're doing, to gather some attention.
To go click, and go to your
Boom.
campus.
Yes, it's a unique proposition to get there. That it's going to take some, how you advertise that, the word of mouth. Right now, we're working with the congregation, and they run Facebook ads, they're doing all those pieces, but really it's the word of mouth that's this congregation is really moving, and it will be interesting. That's one of the things that we've been talking about, watching what happens when they do go back on site in a few months. That we think that's the case. What the pastor's been talking about, anyways. They've got people from 4 different states that are there regularly. And how do they get there? Most of them are word of mouth.
Yep. And we had an episode of this last week on Marketing 101 with Beth Hammock, who talks about the best way to get people into your service, including online, is to invite them. All right. Second is connect. Right. And then that's not unlike an in-person campus. Right. You have to figure out how to connect with people, but it'll be online. And one way that I just want to point out is one way of doing that is to create an app, like a telephone app, a cell phone app, and develop an app for this online campus so that you can share communications and instant messages and build groups and all the rest. And there are a number of giving services, Vanco and others, who provide an app for the church that you can adapt, if you will, and use for this online connecting. But there's also small groups and other ways in which you have to connect, and you have to figure out how you're going to connect to create a congregation online. Right?
So the third core process is disciple, and they're not unalike, but there is this whole online dynamic. And I heard a woman recently say that she has discipled 8 people since their church has gone to online. And I keep thinking, okay, how are you mobilizing them within this online? Because if you all are going to an online church, right? I keep thinking about these churches that are going on. Are you going to go to an online church? You're going to keep doing an online service, or you're just going to be on site from here? And so, okay, if you are discipling those people online, how are you preparing them perhaps for online servanthood? Another dynamic of this in discipling, remember, it's not just about adults, it's also about children and families. So how will you provide, and what kind of materials, resources are you providing families so that families can really work in their own faith development?
Remember, the campus has got to include, of course, depending on your target audience, but your campus has to include resources, worship opportunities, and whatnot for everyone. Okay, the last core process is go or send. And the way to do that really is, we found is, you may have people all over the place and they can't come together to work at the food pantry or do the church cleanup, whatever. But what you can do, and this is just one idea to toss out, is, okay, so the first week of the month, we're all going to go in our own communities and serve in some way, pick out a way. We're all going to take donuts to the Social Security office and we're going to let them know it's from our church and and with the URL so they can join us as well. And then come back with videos and testimonials to share what we did. It's one way of the whole campus going in different places, doing one mission in different places, and bringing together, if you will, these testimonies and the stories of how they have impacted the community. So that's just one possible idea.
Can you imagine your folks that are in Africa, the pictures that those of us who are in the middle of the United States, seeing how they participated, say, in a food bank, what that is, whatever that is, and how your folks say maybe in Nevada they don't have a food bank in their neighborhood, so they created one, or they did something, and you get to see these, just how inspiring and amazing that would be. Can you imagine? The bottom line is, this is all about developing community. How are we going to develop a community in a way that reaches globally, that does what Jesus told us to do, to go out to the ends of the earth? Because that is your potential reach when you have an online campus. I love this.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so we want to just invite you that there's a lot of questions. We've covered just a of it. So at the bottom, if you're on the live site, churchtalk.tv/live, scroll down just a tidbit, and there is a form there for you to ask us your questions. share with us your ideas and share with us your questions, and we will endeavor to put together something to help you to make this a reality.
Yeah.
Hey, we're out of time. Say goodbye, Kris.
Oh, goodbye. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.